There we go. So that's that done. I just felt like I needed to finish that off from the previous episode because I did want to try and do that last time. Last week I wanted to have a selection of 20 odd clips of just explosion after explosion going bang 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 as each creeper does its thing. Uh, but being new to this, I messed up a little bit on the recording and all the clips ended up being pretty much unusable. So I started it again, not completely. I got the heads I needed. I had to go out and get a fresh load of creepers and just make a few more bangs for the video. Just a nice little bit of practice, I suppose. Yeah, it's a learning curve. I'll get there in the end. So I've got all the heads I need, and I've got a charged creeper there as a spare. I don't really know why I need him, but yeah, he's there. So anyway, now that that is done, it's going to be back onto the game over there. But before we do that, there is a little thing I need to say about this. This is just a little bit of a warning because the next set of clips I'm going to show, I had a bit of a headache trying to put them together, trying to film them. It took me several attempts just because I could not get my words out. The trouble is, I'm having built the game myself. I understand what the game's going to do in the long run. I know why certain things need to do certain things, but I found that this next part that I'll try to explain, it was really difficult for me to actually put across what it was about. So this is just a little warning that the next set of clips you're going to see might sound really, I don't know if confusing is the right word. It's just a bit of a jumble because I took several attempts to explain this. So this is, yeah, a warning, uh, but good luck watching basically. But also thank you for watching if you have been watching. Although saying that, this might put you off. But yeah, enjoy it if you can. I think to explain the next part, which is all of this, I think last time I didn't have this yellow bit put in or any of this grubbins here. So in order to go through this, I think it's probably about time I spoke a little bit more about, I suppose, one of a big principle of the game. Um, yeah, I think that would help understand what all of this is meant to be doing. So go over a few things that I've covered before, just as a little recap. Um, this is going to be the two-player game. It's going to be this person against that person. Each person is going to have 5 mobs, so these 5 mobs that are going to sit in these positions are going to be battling these 5 mobs. And it's a turn-based system, so this person will attack this person will then attack this person. The problem I had to figure out was when this is where you start the game, this is where you put your 5 mobs in. So in here you'll put, don't know why they're there. In these barrels is where you'll put your 5 mobs. So let's say 5 zombies, and then you'll whack the button 5 times, and that's going to show up that you'll have 5 zombies sitting in there, and it will be against whatever mobs this player has chosen. Could be a couple of zombies, some spiders, and whatever else. Now, each time your mob goes through the barrel, through the system, out of the dropper, through an item filter, it will end up sitting in, it will come out of a minecart somewhere and it will be displayed in position 1 here. The second one that goes through will sit in position 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And it will be the same on the other side. Over here, it will be position 1, position 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now what I've done is I've made a bit of a problem for myself in the way the game works, because each mob, I've given each mob that we're going to be using different statistics. So a zombie will have a certain amount of health, a spider will have another amount of health, and they'll do different damage against different mobs. It's, yeah, I've made up some statistics for all of them. So this copper line here, that's going to be the display, the health display. So whichever mob is going to be sitting in there, those lamp, I've got 18 of them, those lamps are going to light up depending on how much health they've got at the time, and it can go up and down, and that's going to be the same with all of them. So that's, for now, it's not going to stay. Oh, sorry, for now it is going to stay, but at some point that'll be torn down because I need to build around it later. But I've just put that there so you can see that the mob will sit there. This light comes on when you press the button here to say that you've selected that mob, and the health will be displayed up here. The trouble with all of that is, because they've all got different statistics, if you put if a zombie goes through the system and comes out there, it could end up in position 1, or the first one you choose, you could do a spider first, in which case a spider is sitting there, and that's going to have to display different health to a skeleton, a zombie, or a witch, depending on what's sitting there. Also, when you press a button here to say you're using this mob and you're going to attack one of those mobs, if it's a zombie, it's going to do a different amount of damage than if it was a spider sitting there. So I really need to know what mob is sitting in what position, and that is what the next part of it is, that whole yellow system that I pointed to earlier. All that down there, that is just going to tell me that which mob is in what position depending on when you choose it, or rather when you inputted it. Always seem to fall at those sort of points. Now each time a mob goes through the item filter, or comes out the chest, the dropper, sorry, through the item filter, this line here will flash on, because this is going to keep track of, or this is going to send a signal out depending on which mob you've chosen or inputted. I will get my words right one of these days. So each time one is chosen, this yellow line will flash up, because these are going to fire every single time, and this is going to keep track of this is part of the setup of the game. So this will keep track of what is in position 1. So for now, there's an item in that dropper. Now when this line flashes, first thing it will do is it will flash one of these lines. So if you choose a zombie, this line here will fire. If you choose a skeleton, that line will fire, and spider and witch. So they will fire first, followed by this yellow line. And the yellow line, will come to that bit in a moment. So the yellow line, when it fires, it's going to spit out an item from that dropper, and it's going to come over to the next dropper. And then the next time it fires, it will come out of that dropper and into that hopper, into that dropper. And this is going to keep track of what mob is where. So let's do a little demonstration. Let's say position 1 is going to be a zombie. That yellow line represents position 1, and that bulb there will represent your chosen mob, this here being a zombie. So if I break this to update the observer, that light comes on, signifying that it's a zombie in that position, and that line there will turn off, and that yellow line down there will turn on. Let's just do this. There you go, that turns on, which has solidified the zombie as position 1, and now it's ready to select for position 2. Let's say it's a zombie again. That bulb should light up to say it's a zombie in position 2, and then it will jump onto position 3. So position 2 has been selected as a zombie, and line 3 is red. Position 3 is ready to be selected. If it's a zombie again, that will turn on, and now I'm ready to select for position 4. And position 4 is chosen, and now ready to select for position 5. And that will keep doing that. And it will be different if it were a zombie, a skeleton. If this fires, this line here fires, those will go down. And if it's a spider, those ones will go down. And all that's doing is activating different AND gates. See if I can get myself down here. So when this line is on, I might have to just activate that again really quickly. Let's break that just to bring that position 1, or the item from position 5 into position 1. There we go. So when this line is on, all of these pistons here are extended, and the copper bulb is permanently turned on, by the way. Yep, all of those are turned on, but at the moment only these ones are extended, the position 1 pistons. So this is ready to complete half of an AND gate. This copper bulb is turned on, so it just needs an input from down here. If the spider line is selected, this pushes down here, triggering this AND gate, and out the observer there, that will be the output. If a witch is selected, this piston is raised, that block will push down, triggering the completion of that AND gate, and that will be the output for the witch. I don't really know how best to explain all that. I really hope some of that makes sense, and I haven't built as much here as I have over there, because I think I might be able to demonstrate what it's going to look like in completion. Let's just do that. That doesn't matter for now. So I'm going to go over there and I think show you a little bit more of that. All of this here is just another selection of AND gates with 20 inputs and 20 outputs, really, I suppose. If a zombie is selected here, it will trigger this line here, which will trigger that dropper, sorry. An item will go into there, turning that light off, and this is probably the most traditional AND gate that I know about. Few redstone torches. I haven't completed that side yet because I'm going to do a demonstration in a moment, and for demonstration purposes I don't want a redstone torch there, just because the rest of the system isn't quite finished. So this is going to be one half of the AND gate. If a zombie is chosen, that torch will turn off, and let's go down. If a skeleton is chosen, this torch will turn off, spider witch there, and it's going to be the same for position 2, which is all this. So now when we're selecting for position 2, it will trigger one of these AND gates, and position 3 and position 4 and position 5. The other input for the AND gate will be this yellow line here, which will be what you select in the moment. So anytime you press a button up there, one of those, is that board just still, yep, still standing there, looking very majestic, kind of. So when you press a button for one of these, the button selector panel, saying let's stick with number 1, if you choose position 1, which is going to be this mob sitting here, a signal is going to come through here. It's going to eventually link up to this lot of yellow circuits here, which is the other half of the AND gate. I think that right now I've been talking a lot of gibberish. I think I'll tell you what, I've been standing around this area for a heck of a long time at the moment, just trying to figure out how to word all of this. I've done numerous takes where I've just thought this is just an absolute mess of gibberish that I'm talking about, and I haven't liked how it sounded, and I've just deleted it and started again and again and again. I think the best way, I'm just going to demonstrate with what I've got here. So position 1 down there is selected. I was demonstrating over there earlier, but here I've got position 1 selected. Now let's imagine you select a skeleton to come through the dropper system first. So in position 1 there will be a skeleton, so this line will get detected. There you go, that's updated all of that. And what that has done, that has completed one half of the AND gate over there. Now it's ready to set up for position 2. Let's, for argument's sake, let's just say it's another skeleton. There you go. So now it's going to lock in that there's a skeleton in position 2. And it's ready to select for position 3. Let's say position 3 is a witch. There you go. That just got updated. And now it's ready to select for position 4. We're going to say position 4 ends up being a zombie. So we'll break that. All of this got an update. And now position 4 is locked in as a zombie. And finally, we're ready to select for position 5. We're going to, let's complete the set and just say it's a spider in position 5. There we go. So they should all be locked in position there, and this will go back to position 1, ready for the next game. And if I can get my happy ghast again, there he is. And I'll show you the outputs around the back. So it was, what was it? It was skeleton, skeleton, witch, zombie, spider. There we go. So the lamps have turned on for one half of the AND gate. Or yeah, that should be a completed AND gate, but I haven't put the torch there yet. So this is the skeleton output. Skeleton there, skeleton in this position, witch in the 3rd position, zombie in the 4th position, and a spider in the 5th position. So all of those will be, they're remembered now. And then all I have to do is link this up to another set of system. But for now, what that's done for this game, it now knows that whatever mob is selected here is in position 1. This mob here is sitting in position 2. It's just a gobbledygook of AND gates, and I suppose it's a kind of memory cell, but yeah, that sounds a bit too technical for me. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't. If you were to ask me to make a memory cell, this is not what I would have thought of. Yeah, this is the best solution that I could come up with for the problem I had of just remembering what's there and how to know it's there. Yeah, so that is all of that. I think maybe now might be the time to start talking about some of the stats that I'm going to be giving to the mobs that are going to be used in the game. I don't think I need to, but I think it fits. The timing's right, I think, with the theme of what I've been talking about just a moment ago. So I think it suits doing it now. So the principle is going to be, so the 4 mobs that we've got are the zombie, spider, skeleton, and witch. And apart from the witch, the other 3 will be kind of considered as the rock paper scissors idea. So with rock, paper, scissors, the rock beats the scissors beats the paper, and the paper beats the rock. And it's kind of what I've done here. Let's stand back here if I'm going to use a spyglass. So here, what in my game, what I'm going to be doing is the spider will have a benefit. It's not going to beat it, but it will have a benefit over the spider. The spider will have a benefit over the skeleton, and the skeleton will have a benefit over the zombie. But by benefit, I mean it will have an extra bit of attack. So if you're going to attack a skeleton, your best choice is to use a spider. When it comes to the witch, that will benefit hitting all of them. The witch is going to be a bit more rare to get, but it will be, I think, the strongest one out of the lot. I've only done a few tests at the moment in creative, and it does certainly seem to be the way that if you've got a big nice selection of witches, you're generally going to win unless you get really unlucky with other things. So that's the principle behind the game. The next part of it, this is not important for now. I will come back to it in a moment, I think. But the next part of it is each mob is going to be specialized in a certain way. Well, he says skeleton average. That might be different. The zombie is going to have high health of 17. The maximum health you can have is 18. So it's going to have 17 health, and it's going to have a lot of defense. The defense is mainly going to come with the bonus cards you can use, or bonus stats you can get, or I think in the previous episodes I've called them boosts. So during the game you can find, or you can win certain boosts, and if you put a defense boost on a zombie, generally you will get more defense boost out of it than if you were to use a defense with the skeleton. So that will have defense, high health and defense. So this is a tank basically, but a low hitting health. It's not going to have a lot of damage to it, or it's not going to do a lot of damage. Skeleton is going to be your average guy. It's going to have average health of 13 out of the maximum 18. The attack is going to be in the middle of the other two, and the same with the defense. It's just an all-rounder. I'm going to sleep in a moment because drowns like to be around here, and I don't want to get attacked while I'm having a chit-chat. There we go. So yeah, we've covered the skeleton. Now the spider, that is generally going to have, so it's got low health. I was going to write low health on that line, but it didn't fit, and it looked a bit weird putting it on the next line. So this is going to have low health. Its health is only 9, but it will have high attack. So any attack you get, especially with the boosts, you'll benefit a lot from having a spider. It hits hard, but it doesn't last too long. It's a fragile little creature, but it's a powerful little creature. And then the witch is going to be, as I've pointed out over there, the witch has got benefits. It beats all of these ones. So the witch has, oh, this is weird walking like that. There we go. The witch has got a damage versus all of them. So if it's fighting any of the other ones, it will generally do bonus damage. It's not going to be as much damage as the spider. It just benefits from, it beats the whole lot in general. So none of these guys do an extra bit of attack on this one. And the health is a little bit better than average. We've got a health of 9. This one's a little bit higher, 11, 13 and 17. So it's not great, but the fact that it beats the others in the rock, paper, scissors thing, this trumps all of them. That's where the witch benefits. Now, this is a little bit of a breakdown of what damage is going to be done to which zombie, which mob. So this, if you select a zombie and you're going to attack another zombie, so it's zombie versus zombie, you're going to do 2 damage to the zombie, but it's going to cost you 1 damage. The idea being that if this player here attacks this player, you'll do the, as you're the attacker, you'll do the most damage, but in return you will still take a bit of damage in the process, because you know there's a fight involved. You do some damage, you take a little bit of damage. So there's in my head, in creative mode, I've been calling it retaliation damage, but I don't know if that's the right term to use. So for the sake of this, I've just called it a cost. So you'll attack with 2, but you'll get hit back by 1. So your health is going to go down by 1. If you're attacking a skeleton, you'll be hitting them with 2, but it's going to cost you 3 health. So that's a bad combination to use, and that's all down to that there. So the zombie is better against a spider. If you're using a zombie against a skeleton in general is better against a zombie. So here, that's why if you attack a skeleton, you're still doing 2 damage like you would do with a zombie, but you're going to get hit back with 3, because that's not the preferred. You know, if you're hitting a zombie, if you're hitting a skeleton, using a zombie is not the preferred way to do it. You'll do damage, but it's going to cost you a lot. Now the spider, you'll attack with 3, but it's going to cost you 3. So you'll go down quite a bit of health still. And looking at that again, it's because the spider beats the skeleton. So if you're, oh no, sorry, we're looking at this zombie versus spider. Who's this coming up here? He's having a little nosy at my board. Recording stuff. I'll make this brief quickly then. So yeah, the spider. If you're the zombie and you attack a spider, yeah, that's. I've lost my train of thought. Zombie attacking a spider. The zombie does benefits it. Yeah, so the attack is a little bit greater. Normally, its attack would be 2, but against a spider, it's 3. It's not a great deal, but as I said a little bit earlier, the zombie doesn't do a lot of damage in general, but it does have high defense. So, but trouble is, against a spider, spider's got high attack in general. So yeah, you're still going to go down quite a bit, but you've got a lot of health to play with at the beginning. And then against a witch, your attack is 2, but the cost is 3. So it's a little bit worse than the spider there, just because the spider has the extra attack. Yeah, I think that's all that. Again, I'll make this bit brief because it's raining and I don't fancy talking over the rain. This is how I've broken all of this down. So the way I've come up with these numbers is basically through all of this. In each scenario, these are going to be the attacking points. The 1 were there, 1 there, 1 1, 2 1 1 1, 3 1 1, 2 1 1. During a fight, all of these are going to be taken into consideration. So let's say a zombie attacks a skeleton. I'd consider, was there a fight involved? Yes. So that's 1 point of damage. Do you trump whoever you're attacking? With the case of the zombie against the skeleton, it's a no. The zombie doesn't beat the skeleton. It's the other way round. The skeleton beats the zombie. So the zombie, does it trump the attacker? No. So you don't get that extra point of damage. Are you the attacker? So if this guy is the zombie and you're attacking that skeleton, you are the attacker because it's your turn. So yes, you're the attacker. So it's going to do 1 damage there, none there, and 1 there. So that's a total of 2 damage when you're hitting the skeleton. And over here, the zombie line, zombie versus skeleton, attack equals 2. And now if you're the skeleton, as you're the defender over here, was there a fight involved? Yes. So you're going to do 2 damage because there was a fight involved. it's a little bit of a stronger troop. That's why it does a bit more. Do you trump whoever you're fighting? The skeleton does trump the zombie, so it will get that point as well. So that's a total of 3. And is the skeleton the attacker? It's not the attacker, it's the defender, so it stays as 3. So against a skeleton, when the zombie hits the skeleton, the zombie will deal out 2 damage, but it will cost them 3, which is what that skeleton does in return. That is basically the breakdown, how I've worked out what each one is going to do. Now, I'm hoping that a lot of this is not going to be needed when you're actually playing the game. Maybe some of it, that certainly isn't going to be needed. I hope that just all you're going to have to try and remember when using the game is this here: what trumps what. If people do end up memorizing some of this, you know, how much damage each one does against another mob, great. But I don't think it's going to be totally needed. I think the main thing you're going to need to remember is who trumps who. Yeah, so that's my little bit of a breakdown as to all the damage and the health and how I've kind of calculated how hard each one hits. I mean, wow, that was even for me editing, that was hard to watch. I mean, look how long that's taken. It's dark outside now. It was light when I first started filming all that. Yeah, so hopefully, whoa, hello. Woo. Hopefully that was not too hard for you to watch, and made some sense to some people. Again, a big thank you and a sorry that that was just so weird. I think it's time to go into Wolfie's new shop. I was going to repair these wings back at my villagers just to have a quick little trade, but I do know this has been made, and I believe it's stocked. Yeah, what we got: 2 diamonds for 32. Oh, I have no idea how many I'm going to need for this. So, ooh, I've got more diamonds than I thought. You know what? Let's get a few. How stocked are these? Yeah, nicely stocked. Let's go for... yeah, let's go for this one. Yeah, 2 diamonds, 32. Oh, ta-da! I'm probably not going to need that many, but, you know, let's do it anyway. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I want to see that. There we go. Yay! Some people might have noticed that my levels went down quite a bit between clips there. Not now because I'm back up to 42, but a little while ago, or just before I came into this shop here, uh, Neo needed some heads for a gallery that he and Oz are making. So I thought I'd offered my head for him to place in a gallery a little bit over there somewhere. Yeah, around that blue beacon in the distance there. Um, Now again, I'm going to blame Neo for this. I missed the recording the first time because as soon as I said he could kill me, he just went for it. There was no hesitation at all. Um, so I had to die twice for him. This is how this went. So I was back working on my game for a little while, and I went AFK for a little bit, maybe a couple of hours while I had lunch and did a few other chores around the house. And I come back, and it would appear that someone got me. Uh, yeah, somehow a drown must have seen me in amongst all my redstone and got me. So that's fun. I'm probably going to respawn the spawn point now, and I'm going to, yeah, have to see what stuff I've got left after all that. Yeah, here we go. Spawn point. Um, what's best to do? Quite a few people on still. Now I'm going to make my way over there. I'm going to probably be better off getting a boat, just in case I haven't got everything I need. Oh, I'll have that. Give myself a crafting table and a few more logs. I'll go for this one. Yes, I'm just going to make a boat real quick, just in case. Yeah, in case my wings have somehow despawned and I'm going to have to make my way back here or back to my base. So it looks like somebody saved some stuff for me. Sailing back there now. Okay, that's a bit of good news. Oh, I see him over there, just to the left of my head there. Apparently somebody stored some stuff in there for me. Some sand since I accidentally got you. Oh, so Board got me killed. I was going to say, I thought I was pretty safe where I was. So I'm guessing he pushed me around then. Fair enough, fair enough. Yay, I've got my wings. That's the main thing I'm worried about, to be honest. That can stay in there. That can come with me, that can come with me. You don't want that. That can go there, that can go there. What's he saying? Oh, they're talking to each other. Whee! Now, I'll tell you what, I'm surprised Board didn't take that, because he's got a habit of collecting my beds. Every time I try and sleep, if he is around, he will take my bed. I think he told me he's got about 4 or 5 of them at the moment, so I'm surprised. If he was here, I wonder why he didn't grab it. How did Board not take my bed? There we go. Ah, so Neo saved it. Okay, that makes sense. Board would have definitely taken my bed. No rockets though, but that's okay. Rockets usually end up mixing in everyone else's inventory, so that's not a big problem. You know, usually when you collect other people's stuff for them when you die, yeah, all the rockets get merged and it usually gets forgotten about. I think I only had something like 12 on me at the moment, at the time anyway. That's not. I've never usually got more than a stack. Right, back to work. Right now, what I'm up to is I'm putting in a reset line for these droppers here, because so far the testing that I've been doing and the testing I'm going to be doing in the future, these are going to be firing quite a bit throughout the tests, and I'm going to benefit a lot from having a reset line rather than jumping down in amongst all this to try and move the item from one dropper to another dropper. But yeah, the reset line, the red wool here, it'll be so much better. I've done it. I finished it off over there. I just need to break and activate a rail there, and all the droppers will reset. And I'm just doing the last one on this side now. It's when I do this, it's not going to be completely linked up to the rest of the circuit or the rest of the game. So if I do want to reset it while I'm doing any sort of tests, it's going to have to be a manual thing. So I'm going to have to fly over to there each time and reset it, and then fly over to this part here and reset it. It's not too bad, but it'll be a lot better once I've got all of the game in place. I won't have to do it manually anymore. There we go. This shouldn't take too long. I've kind of got a bit of a rhythm for it now after doing quite a few. There we are. Break, break. Yeah, the difference between doing this in creative and here is just it's astonishing how much easier it is. There we go. Get onto that bit and fall down. That. Once I've finished off this, I'm probably going to do a little test just to make sure all these resets, that reset system and this one are both working properly. It should be an observer there, then it'll be a rail, then a bit of wool, then an observer, and that'll be it, I think. So let's put this wool along here. Yes, observer, wool, rail, observer. Yeah, that should do it. Now I just need to do the rest on all of these and then finish it up at the top. And that's all done just for testing now. So what I'm going to be looking out for is this line of redstone torches here. Each time I activate those lines, any of these lines down here, it's going to is this a good enough view? Let's go over here a little bit more. But to be honest, I'm just trying to cover up the fact that I missed my landing. Yeah, it's a bad position down here. Back up we go. This will do. Yeah, so these lines or these redstone torches will turn off. The bulb won't end up doing anything because I've completed the redstone torch or this part of the AND gate here now. So that needs to be off and that needs to be off in order for that to come on. But at the moment, I'm not testing this bit with these redstone torches. It's just going to be these ones on the multicolored bits of wool. So all of these should turn off, and that's what I'm going to look for. And then hopefully when I reset it, all these torches will come back on again. What I'm thinking is I'm going to have to break and replace each activator rail. So either way, I'm going to be activating these twice. So I figured what I should do to test it as thoroughly as I can for now is just break all the witch lines for now. You know what, I might do witch and skeleton. Do a few at a time. Break all of these. Miss that one there. Miss that one there. And I'll go around the back and just double check to make sure that the correct torches have turned off. Let's have a little look-see. Yeah, so the bottom one there, the witch has turned off, the skeleton's turned off. These two have stayed on. That's good. Same here, witch there, skeleton there. The other two have stayed on. Same there. Same there. And the same there. I'm doing two at once just because I'm just making sure that none of these signals are going to be crossing somewhere, because when that gets seen, that activator rail gets seen, it goes into that block, which will go into that activator rail. And I just wanted to make sure that I haven't accidentally, you know, by powering this, it's powering something it's not supposed to be powering. Yeah, that's why I'm doing a couple of at a time, because I could just break all of them and then go around the back and check. But for all I know, when I broke that one there, I might have made a mistake here and it would have turned all the torches off anyway. So I wouldn't know if I had made a mistake. So I think by doing a little bit at a time, I'm going to hopefully eliminate the possibility of an error. What I want is for all these torches to turn back on. If they do, then that will be a good reset. Let's have a little check. Yep, they're all back on. It's looking hopeful. All of those back on. Yep, oh, I do like it when a redstone thingamajiggy does what it's meant to do. This new pink line here is going to be linked to the mob health. And down here in particular, it's going to be the starting health of the mob. So when this observer here detects the mob that's going to be sitting in position 1, so these 4 lines here is going to be linked to position 1 for zombie, skeleton, spider and witch. The observer here, there's going to be one, this is going to be across all of these. This observer will trigger this dropper here, which will put an item in here, which will be observed here, and that will come all the way along here. And at the end here, it's going to be linked into something that's going to eventually be linked to this big copper bulb line here. So for instance, the zombie here is going to have 17 health. So that will detect that a zombie is in position 1, send a signal over here, and this is going to release a dropper or a barrel, whatever it's going to be. It's going to release 17 items, and they will get linked in some way. It's probably going to go back over the top here, and it's going to display 17 health here, or rather this copper bulb here, that's going to be a tower there. So that will have 17 on it if it's a zombie. If it becomes a skeleton, then it will release however many health the skeleton's got. I think that was going to be... Ooh, can I see it from here? 13 health. yeah, so if it's a skeleton, it will be 13 health. It will release a dropper that's got 13 items in, and then the copper bulb tower here will display 13 health. What I need to do now is finish off the rest of that, do the same on the other side, and then complete this back bit of it here. And just like that, everything is complete. Well, for this part here anyway. So all of these are connected now, and I've got myself a little reset line complete as well. So once an item goes into this dropper here, let's just isolate some of this a minute. I'm just going to isolate that so that when I do mess around with this signal, nothing goes through there. And I'm going to isolate this here as well so that when a signal comes through here, nothing will continue. Yeah, this is going to activate this dropper here, or this observer, which will hit this dropper, and that will shoot its item out up the top. So I can update that. I could just do that here. There we go. We nearly missed. There we go. So now the item is up in this top dropper. That observer would have noticed that and sent a signal all the way to there somewhere. And to demonstrate the reset, should be quite self-explanatory here. When this gets powered, any of these droppers that have been activated will shoot their item back into the bottom dropper. So I shall do that now. Do I have a power source on me? Redstone torch will do the job. There we go. There we go. That has moved out of there and back into the bottom dropper. So now that the reset is complete and I know that it's working, when a zombie goes into position 1, this line here gets updated. This observer here will put that copper bulb on, which will turn the redstone torch off, unlocking the hopper, releasing these 17 items, which are going to be the 17 health items for the zombie. They will go through the hopper there. Let's have a little get up. A little bit higher. So all of these items here, this is for the zombie health. There, yeah, there it is. The zombie health will have 17, skeleton 13, spider 9, and a witch will have 11. They will come into this hopper here and into the dropper. When the items go into the dropper, these, I wonder if I can demonstrate with a couple of silly items. Let's put 12 of these in. This will pulse 12 times. 9, 10, 11, 12. Of course, it won't be 12 times. It'll be however many times is in each one of these barrels. So for zombie, it will be 17 times. I will have a signal coming up here, which will be linked to that copper bulb health pillar over there somewhere. So that will display 17 items. The items are, once they come out of here, are going to go up at this water stream inside this pink bit of glass. A little bit too high there. There we go. So they are going to come up here into this hopper here and back through an item filter here. This is going to filter out, it's going to put back the 17 items in there, or it will put back items there, spider items there, and the witch items there. And I've put a barrel at the end just in case anything goes wrong. I can find it and yeah, come and collect whatever goes wrong afterwards. What else of this is there? Yeah, just a simple item filter here. I think that's it for this bit. Yes, this red bit here. This is what is locking this hopper here. The reason for that is because I don't want the items to go into the item filter until the game has ended. So the items will come up the bubble column, sorry, up the bubble column. They will go into that hopper and they will stay there, because if they go back in, then they're just going to keep circulating around the system over and over again, and it's going to keep pulsing this so many times. So it's literally just going to do it 17 times or 13 times, sit in that hopper there until the game gets reset. This will depower, letting all the items in all these hoppers go back into the item filter. At that point, the hopper at the bottom will be back onto being locked. Let's have a little fall down. I think I'm going to be doing that a lot, falling off this. Yeah, at which point, when the game resets, the reset over there that I went through a moment ago, that will reset, triggering this line again. Am I being shot at? Wow, that's a good shot. Where is he? Is that him? It is. Will I get a trident? I don't see one. No, never mind. Put all that back. Yeah, so when the reset line gets triggered, this line will get powered again and it will turn that bulb off. Another one. You know what? I'm not interested. Yeah, that bulb will then get turned off, which will put that torch back on, locking the hopper so that anything that does go through the item filter will end up staying in there and not circulating round and round the system until the game's over. I've finished this bit over here. I've just got one more section to build. I left this open or empty at the time because I didn't know if I was going to need to build this on camera for you so you'd see how I'm doing it and maybe get a better understanding of what it's about, but I don't really think I need to do it on camera. I've run out of grey wool anyway. I need to go down there. Yeah, I'm going to finish this off, and I think the next part of the system is going to be coming off of these hoppers, these observers at the back here, and these two down here. And it's going to be a system that's going to link to the button selection panel. This lot here, I think it's going to come out of these observers and into the back here. to explain this next part, this yellow bit I've got off here, coming around here, and to the back of the button selector panel here, we're going to have to go a little bit further back to, well, back to the beginning, really. When the game has begun, you're going to have a mob sitting in each one of these positions, and you'll be pressing a button up here to say you'll press that button to say you're using this mob in the fight. But as the game goes on, you're going to be losing a bit of health on each of these mobs, and eventually one of the mobs will completely lose their health, it's dead, and it will go back to wherever it comes from. At that point, I don't want people to be able to press the button anymore, because the mob's not there. You shouldn't press the button, the light shouldn't come on. If a mob's health has gone and it's gone away, I need to deactivate this button. And that is what all of this is going to be doing. It's just going to deactivate the button. But to deactivate the button needs to be active in the first place. So I'm going to go down there now and show you, now that that's explained as why I've got this here in the first place. Now I've made a little bit of a change here. You might notice that the observers that were, I think I had one there instead of the pink wool, one was there, and I had another one coming out there and there. They have been removed now. While building this, I came to the realization that I only really need it to be on one circuit here, or on one of these units. I don't need it to, because originally I had all those observers having a yellow line like this leading up to each one of these droppers here. This one for there, the other one for there. But while I was making this, I realized, well, why am I doing that when I can just put a little signal on there and activate them all at once? Because these don't need to be individually activated. They just need to be individually deactivated. So these can all come on at once. So when all the mobs come into this line, this will fire when the mob sitting in the 5th position is detected and it starts spitting out its health for the start of the game. This will fire, and I don't need it to fire for all of them, just the end one. And this will fire once. So I've got those 2 repeaters on there on 4 ticks. Reason being, as I said, this only needs to fire once. So I'll remove that so I don't have a signal going all the way. If I would have put that on a 3 tick, and I put, let's say, 7 items in there, this will keep flashing on and off and on and off. It's not a big problem that it does that, because all it's going to be doing is activating a dropper. So it doesn't matter if it keeps trying to shoot out items, it's only going to do it once anyway. But for the sake of a bit of flashing on and off here, having it on this 8 ticks here just stops it from pulsing so many times. There we go. The signal doesn't quite, it's not quite often enough to overcome the delay on that 2nd repeater. So that's why I've got those 2 there. And as I said, I did have it coming off the same sort of setup going to each one of these, but I found that I really don't need to do that as long as I've got a full line there. There. And yes, I did just fall off. Let's have a little look at what he's selling, just out of curiosity. Don't need any mini blocks. Yeah, nothing interesting. I thought that was ice cream for a moment then. Can you see that? The cone, and then there's the whip on top. He's selling ice cream. I don't want it. Let's take your llamas though, because why not? I think I've got a couple of leads. Here we are. Let's steal these. I want you. I want you. Come on, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Be free. There we are. I'll just put my bow in there. It meant to go on the hotbar. There we go. That's where he belongs. I've now completed both sides, so I think now they're both equal. All of that is done, and all of that is done. That is going to be it for this episode, I think. Yeah, I think the game's coming on pretty well. I've still got a massive amount to do. You know, looking at the scope of things, yeah, I know what is to come, and this is, I would guess, maybe 10 or 15% of it so far, maybe something like that. But yeah, we are getting there, absolutely. I'm not quite sure what the next part of it's going to be. I think the very next bit is a little bit more of the health line, that pink bit we were doing. After that, I can't remember what's next. But I will get to that next week. For now, thank you very much for watching, whoever has been, and putting up with my failing editing skills. But yeah, thank you and have a good week. Bye, bye, bye.